Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. My name is Kieran, this is Real Talk Football. I hope you're all doing well. I'm feeling great. It sort of scarred me for life, to be honest, watching Ireland. I need a few days off and I'm doing something a bit different from the usual rant and talk waffle, hopefully. I mean, I'll still be talking waffle, but I think this will be a bit more enjoyable for a neutral to watch, because I'm going to be talking about my favourite all-time XI or starting 11 to watch. This starting 11 that I've picked, it's heavily based on nostalgia and growing up and watching these players play and looking up to them and just enjoying their overall play. This isn't based around the best player or the greatest player of all time, you know, that's not what I'm going for here. It's more my favourite 11, my favourite. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. It's not all based around class, it's not all based around ability. So this won't be based around them. It's more 2004 to 2021, which is when I started watching football. Would be 2004, I'd say, 2005. I'm only picking 3 Chelsea players to make this more interesting. You know, I don't think I should pick all starting 11 of Chelsea players. That'd be very boring. Without further ado, my favourite XI graphic coming up on screen right now. So in goal, everyone. This is quite a difficult one. You know, there's a lot of candidates here. You go Gianluigi Buffon, Shay Given, someone I look up to a lot, and a great keeper for Ireland. Neuer's another one I quite like. But the one that I always liked growing up, even though he played for Real Madrid and even though Galacticos, you know, people didn't really like them, I always loved Iker Casillas. I thought he was the best keeper growing up. He was good early 2000s, late 2000s for Spain, Real Madrid. I watched a lot of Spain, the World Cup, Euros, they were dominant, 2008, 2010. And yeah, I think I would go for Casillas here. Right back, you'd love to go for Jose Bosingua, you know, or Branislav Ivanovic. A player that really tickled my interest, who I loved watching growing up for Barcelona, was Dani Alves. And for Juventus after that. I loved the way he played. Just bomb forward at every occasion, tons of pace, and I remember him having a superb passing range as well. So for me, Dani Alves is one that I loved watching, and he was one of my favourite right backs at the time. There's candidates there. You could go for Maicon. You know, I liked Maicon a lot. I like the way he played, but there's a lot of Brazilian right backs that are brilliant, and Dani Alves was one of them. And I'm sure there's a lot that would disagree, but I don't think anyone else beats Dani Alves here for me. Quick, agile, good passing range, good at crossing. Had a great shot on him. I was tempted by John Terry here, but you'll see later on why I didn't pick John Terry, because I'm only allowed 3 Chelsea players, remember, so this is going to be controversial. One of my favourite centre backs growing up, because he was a prick, because I hated him. I hated the fact that he was so good, and the fact that I wanted, when he retired or when he left Man United, I was happy. I was delighted because I had nightmares about him. And that's Nemanja Vidic. Completely clear of Rio Ferdinand for me. Better centre back. Rock solid. People will say, why is he your favourite? You know, I suppose in scenarios like this, you could go for people like Maldini, Nesta. You know, I remember watching AC Milan team very young. They were so good, and I loved watching those centre backs. But Vidic is one I watched in, week out, growing up, and the way he defended was brilliant. So for me, it's Vidic all day long. I'm not really going for a partnership here. I'm not going for a centre-back partnership. But yeah, I went for Puyol in the end. He was just a leader for Barca, you know. And I think since they've lost Puyol, they haven't been as good at the back. I didn't go Maldini, I didn't go Nesta, because I didn't see enough of them. So that's the reason for that. Left back. Oh God, this one gave me nightmares as well, because I wanted to put Ashley Cole in. I love Ashley Cole. So close again to putting Ashley Cole in, but I wanted to fit other players into this team. The left back I have selected is Marcelo, because I always loved watching Marcelo play, even though, again, a Los Blancos player, Real Madrid player. Real Madrid, not exactly a likeable team, but for me, just the way Marcelo carried himself, his tenacity and his pace going forward, always bombing forward down the left, just made him one of my favourite left backs to watch, especially in those Champions League finals. I wasn't old enough to witness what Roberto Carlos did, you know, so I can't select left backs here other than Marcelo, you know, because I think Marcelo is the one that's always stood out to me growing up. Jordi Alba was good as well, but I don't think he was as good as Marcelo. The centre midfielders, so tough, so tough. I was close to picking Pirlo here, and I haven't really gone for a holding midfielder. I've gone very attacking minded. First of all, I picked Ronaldinho, because I just love watching him play growing up. I have faint memories of watching him play for AC Milan. Barcelona, I don't really remember. So much technical ability, so good on the ball, impossible to get the ball off, and so skillful. And I think that's a player for me. He's one of my favourite of all time, Ronaldinho. Even though I didn't get to see much of him, I was very young. But even FIFA Street, you know, if you remember FIFA Street, Ronaldinho, he was the one you wanted your hands on as a player because he's so good, so skillful, such a good player. Suppose then we get to the meat and potatoes of this team. I'm gonna go Kaká. Kaká, one of the best players for me, late 2000s. One of my favourites was Kaká. I love Kaká. I remember loving that AC Milan team Kaká was in. I think it was in 2008, 2007. Pirlo, Kaká, Seedorf, Inzaghi, Maldini, Nesta. Such a great AC Milan team. And Kaká was part of it. And Kaká was so good on the ball. So quick in his peak. He was so quick. And his career sort of fizzled out in the late 2000s. I think early 2010s. I remember being a cover star in the FIFA game even. And watching him in the Champions League was brilliant, you know. Because he was just a magical player on the ball. Hard to get him off the ball as well. Once he had it, it was very difficult to get the ball off him. And he was just a pleasure to watch, you know. One of my all-time favourites, Kaká. Beside those two in the midfield, I've gone for a very, very special player. Super Frankie Lampard. Probably my all-time favourite player. Such a good goal scorer for a midfielder. His first name on the team sheet here. What's not to love? What's not to love? And unfortunately sacked as manager, but we won't speak about that. We move into the front three. Now this was difficult. This was another difficult one. But I've gone with Eden Hazard, left wing. How could you not put a player like this in the team? One of my all-time favourites. Again, after Lampard, I'd say he's probably my all-time favourite. And honestly, doesn't get the respect he deserves. I think he was one, if not the best player in the Premier League while he was around. You know, barring that one season in 2014. When he shat the bed, he was so good. So many goal contributions. So that's Hazard, left wing. And then you come down to the final two players. I'm going to go with Lionel Messi on the right wing. For me, magical player. I have a poster up in my room. Forever to go for me. Forever to go. Such a magical player to watch. Can't make it clear to you enough how good Messi is. And how good he was. Pleasure to grow up watching a player like that over the last decade. And pleasure to watch him hit the post against Chelsea in 2012, you know. And then the final position, I wasn't going to put him in. I was going to put Ashley Cole in instead, but I just couldn't do that to this man. The king that rules us all. Didier Drogba. Didier Drogba, what he done in Munich. What he done over the years in so many big FA Cup finals. All the important goals he scored, you know. I remember one specific moment. Maybe he doesn't get credit for this enough. I think it was in 2012 as well, you know that. We had to win at home against Valencia. And he scored a hat-trick. You know, he was that big game player. And without him, we wouldn't have had a Champions League, let's be honest. So, how could I not put him in this team? Such a likeable character as well. And I think that wraps up my favourite all-time 11. This is completely subjective, by the way. Not based around any ability, just my pure opinion. This was a lot of fun to make. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like if you did. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're back this weekend. Chelsea are playing. Premier League's on. Happy days, you know. And then Champions League preview is coming on Monday with Adam. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace everyone, have a great day.